Hello everybody, Lokimagics, another day, another video, and in this video today, we are going to talk about this champion right here because I was finally able to pull him and I wanted to share you my opinions and thoughts on the champion. So if you want to hear it, let's go, let's get right into it.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's talk about his aesthetics, and this champion looks great. I think he's one of the best looking champions in the game. I mean, some people probably won't agree, but overall, this guy looks very, very good. And he reminds me of that Dark Souls character. I can't remember what, I think it was called Black Knight actually. But that's what he reminds me of. This guy also reminds me of that Lord of the Rings guy too, right? But regardless, man, this champion looks fantastic. But in this game, looking good is only half the battle. What can this guy actually do? Let's get into his skills. Alright, let's talk about his kit. And before I do, I have to say I love and hate his kit at the same time. But I will explain all that in the video as we go through everything. So let's start off with his A1. His A1 attacks one enemy, decreases target's max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted. So this A1 is pretty basic. It attacks one enemy, and we don't really use decreased max HP too much in the game. So hopefully in the futures, these type of abilities will be more utilized. But for now, it's something that we really don't use too much. Now moving on to his A2. Now this is where I kind of start. Like, I like his kit, but I don't like his kit because this attacks one enemy 3 times. Damage increases equal to the percentage of HP the target has lost. So the thing is, when you're fighting squishier champions, this thing is a strong A2. But when you're fighting like tankier champions, it doesn't really do a lot of damage because, you know, the damage increases equal to the percentage of HP the target has lost. So this A2 is very situational, and it kind of makes them hard to play in arena sometimes because, like, I guess it depends on team composition, but I guess that's an issue with every champion in the game, right? So this automatically makes you want to use Bloodtwin against squishier champions versus tankier champions. So let's keep that in mind, and we'll get to that later, but let's move on to his A3. Now his A3 attacks all enemy, has an 80% chance of placing leech debuff for 2 turns. Now this ability is pretty cool. Leech is something that people use in dungeon and campaign a lot. It's not something you will really bank on when it comes to arena, and clan boss too. People use it a lot in clan boss, but overall I think his A3 is okay. It can do some work depending on who you're going against in the arena, but when it comes to faction wars and when it comes to campaign dungeon, this A3 is very powerful, especially combining that with this passive. Now this passive is what makes Bloodtwin very unique. This heals this champion by 30% of their max HP each time to kill an enemy, which is pretty cool. And also, any attack he does, if you get killed by this champion, you're not coming back. Block, revive, boom, automatically. Now that's something Rotos lost recently. He still has it, but he has like all these requirements, right? So it kind of sucks now. But this guy here, right off the bat, if he kills you, you're not coming back. That's why I kind of like his whole concept. He looks like a Green Reaper with this big old axe, and he's just like, you know, just cleaving everybody, and you're not coming back, taking souls, right? So this champion is pretty cool, and his aura increases ally attack in all battles by 33%. So his kit is pretty cool. There are some limiting factors, and we'll go over that here in a sec. But also there's one more thing I do want to mention. I just want to mention, I feel like Bloodtwin is the squishiest champion in this game. I used to think Ethos was squishy because of his base defense being at 716, and his HP is not too bad. But this guy right here, his HP is extremely low, and his base defense is a little bit higher, but man, this dude just feels extremely squishy. So I said, you know what? Let me try out Swift Parry set on him. So this is why he has that. And I think it's not a bad set for this champion. I'm not saying that I will recommend this above all, but I think it does do him some justice. So we will check out some of that in the video here shortly. I just wanted to show you guys his artifact set real quick. And his total stats. So his HP is really low, so it's really hard to build up, but I think 40k is not too bad for the champion. His attack is extremely easy to build up because it's a pretty high base stat. His defense, I'm not even really worried about it, honestly. I mean, that is low. It's very hard to build up. His speed's pretty good. His crit rate, always try to go for 100% if you can. And crit damage, get that as high as you can. He doesn't need any accuracy, and any resistance will help. So that is why I have him in this set, and that is his total stats and artifacts. So with that being said, let's move over to his masteries. So when it comes to his masteries, I feel like it's pretty simple. You don't want to go down a support tree. I mean, you do have lore still, which could boost up your artifact sets points, I guess, but it's really, I don't think it's worth it. And he does have that leech. I don't think, you know, going for master hexer and accuracy just to get that leech off is very beneficial. So for sure, I believe you definitely want to go down the offensive side, pick up crit rate, crit damage. Shield breaker is awesome if you're using him in the arena. Also helm smasher is awesome for arena, but if you want to use them in clan boss, then yes, go with War Master, dungeons, things like that. War Master will help you out. And definitely the defensive tree, because I feel like, you know, he is a squishy champion, so adding a little bit more tankiness to him is definitely a good thing. And you definitely won't counter, because the more he attacks, the more potential he has to proc that block revive on your opponents, right? So I feel like this is a pretty good safe bet for this champion, but it all comes down to your team synergy and where you want to use them. But I feel like this is a pretty safe bet for the arena. So with all that being said, all that rambling I just did, let's just pack it all in and showcase him live action. Let's go. Who remembers how people used to say this champion could farm stage 12-3 Bruto under 8 seconds? Well, he's not that fast, but here's a satisfying video of him doing it under 19 seconds. Okay, moving on. Yep, you guessed it, Ice Golem. Pretty much any champion with block revive is going to be good for Ice Golem because it keeps his minions down. You'll see right here, only one came up, which could be a huge help for newer accounts. Also, this champion has decreased max HP, right? So it's kind of like a cool mechanic. I wish he'll play into it a little bit more in the future content. We'll see, just hoping. But anyways, we got Rotos, Ethos, and Bloodtwin here. Some of the top DPSers, so at the end we'll see how well they do compared to each other. And also, Bloodtwin is about to use his A2, where he attacks one enemy 3 times and the damage increases for percentage loss. So you can see right here, it does hit pretty well, but sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm playing him wrong. I feel like sometimes it does its job, and sometimes it's like really satisfying, and other times it hits so weak you're like, oh man, like it didn't do anything. So that's why, like, I like it, but I don't like his kit sometimes. But anyways, you can see right here, Ethos came with a mill, Bloodtwin with a mill, and also Rotos. Now Rotos is really good for Ice Golem. He does a lot of damage, if you didn't know. But anyways, moving on to the next area. Arena. Alright, rule number 1 when it comes to Bloodtwin is that this dude is squishy. So you have 2 choices. You can make him faster than your opponents, or you can set him up with a tanky support group of champions in your composition, right? Because right here, Foley goes first, and he's so squishy, boom, block revive. This dude ain't coming back up. He's game over, and now we might be able to win this fight, but it's going to be a long battle. No one wants that, so let's switch out his team comp and see him in a different composition. Alright, same team. We lost Plat, we're back to Gold 4, but we switched out a few champions. We got speed boost, got the aura protection, and now we got Chris here that's gonna like give us more sustainability. Foley does not even close to the same amount of damage. And here we could decide to go as A2 or A3. I want to try his A3, see how well it does. Foley is squishy, and of course he does get block revive. So you can see that is another strategy on using him. But the only thing though I will say is that the battles usually tend to be a lot longer when using Bloodtwin for some reason. This is a shorter one, but from my experience, most battles when I use Bloodtwin, it seems to be a lot longer. So I see why people like Foley and Tundra better. I feel like those fights are faster. But yeah, moving on to the next example. Up next, we're going against 2 Revivers and Kandrafon, which is like supposed to be the new damage meta, but we'll see about that. But regardless, you want to use block revive to take out your Revivers, right? Now the thing about this A2 is that since it attacks one enemy 3 times and damage multiply on HP loss. It's not that good against shields. I mean, it does do some work. You see it took it off, but you're not gonna one-shot nobody, right? So I can see why people won't use Bloodtwin versus some other champions. And not necessary it's his fault. You could have a team setup that, you know, is faster, that, you know, that strips away bust from your opponents, and then you come in and do that. That would work. So it's really going to depend on your team composition, on how you use Bloodtwin. You saw earlier, Foley was faster, so we had to use a tankier support group to beat that team, right? So there's a lot of, you know, scenarios here, but I just really want to showcase that A2 is horrible against shields, so it could make battles a lot longer. Like, this fight's a long fight, but we eventually win, and we'll fast forward to the end. But slowly but surely, if you have the right team composition, you could sustain and eventually wear your team out because you have block revive. So Bloodtwin has options. He's not horrible, but you just got to know his strengths and his weakness. Alright, and we finally made it 2 minutes in, and boom, this battle is won. Alright, so I'm going to play this in the background because I really feel like it showcases the best example on how to use Bloodtwin. Because you see right here, we're going against 2 squishy attackers, and Ethos almost died right there alone, right? That A1 would have, if it took him out, he would have been block revived, and pretty much that team would have been a wrap. So I feel like Ethos' strength definitely comes going against squishier champions than him, which isn't a lot, but he will take out squishier champions. Now, another thing also I want to add is that Rotos recently got nerfed, right? And you know, the more I think about it, I think it's fair, because let's say we're going against Rotos right here. Bloodtwin would have had no chance. This dude would have been murdered every single time. So would Ethos, right? So it's kind of fair. I wouldn't say Bloodtwin is meta arena champion, but he is kind of fun to use, and he does work. He can't beat everybody, right? He could, I guess. It always depends on team composition, but he can't beat everybody. But he is a very good option, especially I feel like in tag team arena, like your third team, because usually the third team, people get kind of sloppy, they're squishier, they're not geared out properly. So if you got a strong team composition with Bloodtwin in there, you might be winning every single third set. Well, you know what I mean, the third round. So I feel like Bloodtwin definitely has use case. He's a cool champion. I like him. So that's him in the arena in a nutshell. Oh man, that was a close one. I almost forgot to justify Swift parry set. So you're going to see right here, Bloodtwin is going to almost die from Ethos, and he survived, right? That Swift parry set came through. We're going to buff him up real quick, and then he's going to take all that anger out and put it on Ethos with his A2. Boom, he dies. Didn't do a lot of damage, but like I keep saying, these champions are squishy. Ethos won. Dude is not coming back alive, even though the other team has 2 revivers, right? So you could win matches this way, and it's a long battle doing it this way, but hey, a win's a win. So yeah, I had to justify Swift parry set real quick. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Of course, campaign, he's going to be good. He's going to be good pretty much everywhere in dungeons. Faction wars, yes, but he's not really going to be like a necessity for faction wars unless you're just stuck dealing with revived champions, right? Because some faction stages do have those champions that get revived and revivers in that faction. So if you're stuck on those, yes, then Bloodtwin will be the exact champion you need for that. Arena, he's good. A little bit complicated. It's really up to you. Like, I like him. I think Bloodtwin is a very fun champion. He's not the easiest champion to work with, but I think he's really cool. Like, I really enjoy using him, and that's really the point. It's just a game, and he's a fun champion, so I like him. I'm not saying he's meta. I'm not saying he won't be meta. The meta is changing right now, especially with all the nerfs and stuff. Well, more the Rotos nerf, but regardless, you know, Bloodtwin is a strong candidate to become meta. We don't know what champions are coming in the future, so maybe, you know, he'll rise to the top eventually. We don't know, but I'm praying, because I really do like the champion. And when it comes to when it comes to clan boss, Bloodtwin's gonna be okay. I'll use him if that's all he got, because he does have leech and he does hit multiple times, I guess. But clan boss, he's not really going to be the best. And for Doom Tower, we don't have that yet, and I don't like speculating, because you never know what's going to happen. But I think he's going to be really good at Doom Tower. Hopefully his kit plays into some of the mechanics and it gives them more value. But regardless though, that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. And hey, have a good week, stay strong out there, and be safe. Peace.